Napoli fans around the world, welcome to Napoli Talk. Guys, not the game that we wanted to see, regardless of the result, because it was just a tough, tough watch. The result also was not something that we like, that we wanted to see. Very difficult to comment on this game, guys. Very difficult because the goal that Torino scored was to some extent a little bit lucky, but they outplayed us in the first half, and Napoli didn't offer anything in the first half, really. In the second half, there was a little bit of desperation playing with the wingers, trying to get crosses in, but guys, if this is the Napoli team that we're gonna have for the rest of the season, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, guys, because either we have our best 11 on the field or we're going to struggle. Or we're going to struggle, guys, because all it takes nowadays is for one of our starting 11 players to not be there, and it becomes incredibly difficult for us. We saw it against Milan when Spinazzola was not there. We're seeing it, or we saw it today when Hojlund and Mctominay couldn't start. That this team, when it's at 9, 10 out of 11 starters, it's not enough. It's not enough. And we can't play every game with 11 of our best players. We have too many games this season. So it's worrying, guys. It's worrying. And what I'm most disappointed in is Luca. I tried to protect him the last few weeks, but if you guys have been following me since August, some of you have been following me for years, no? But when Napoli signed Luca, I said, look, I'd rather have Darwin Nunez, honestly, or I'd rather have the guy that went to Atalanta, Kristovic, because Luca, 35 million, man. I don't know. I don't know. Like what for 35 million I can do that job, you know? Give me his height and I can do a better job than he does because I don't know what he was doing. I don't know what he was doing, guys. Honestly, this morning I went to play paddle, okay? Because here in Spain, paddle is a big sport. I went to play paddle, and in the court next to me, there was a football game with I think maybe 4-year-olds, and I'm not saying that that's the level of Luca, but I saw more technique in that game. Let me tell you. Let me tell you that I saw more technique. I mean, there are players here in Barcelona, 4 years old, that have more technique than Luca. And I'm trying to be nice, guys. I'm really trying to be as nice, politically correct. Like, really, I am. I'm really trying. But it it angers me. It angers me because this guy is a waste at the moment. I hope, honestly, I hope for him that he can improve, but it's not possible that 10 passes and 10 times he loses the ball. It's not possible because then you put Ambrosino, who, with all due respect, is, let's face it, a Serie B type player at the moment, and he does a better job than Luca. So, um, yeah, I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed because I don't know what Napoli saw in him, and the fact that the guy replaced Simeone, and Simeone scored against us, and we saw last year Simeone, guys. Simeone is a finished player. Simeone, I love him, right? But he's a finished player. Last year, I mean, we were complaining about Simeone, not for one game, but the entire season. And he goes and he scores against us, and he makes Simeone Sorry, he makes Luca look like uh, prime Close or something, you know? Or sorry, he Simeone looks like prime Close compared to Luca. Like, guys, it's incredible. It's incredible that Torino actually had two, maybe even three strikers better than Luca today because I would rather have Zapata, honestly. Zapata is actually an incredible striker. He's proved it, I would say, even with us when he was super young. I still remember that goal he scored against Marseille in the Champions League. He was a decent player when he came on for Higuain, did what he had to do in Atalanta, then started well with Torino, got injured. Now he's getting his minutes back. Honestly, I think Zapata is twice the player at least that Luca is. So, to see Torino with two strikers better than the one that we started with today, and both of them were ex-Napoli players. Yeah, I mean that hurts. That hurts. And all I can say is thank goodness, guys. Thank goodness that Lukaku got injured with enough days in the transfer market because otherwise we would have been stuck with only Luka. And at least we had the chance to bring in Hojlund because if Lukaku got injured on the 3rd of September instead of the 15th of August, we would be looking at a very, very mid table season, guys. A very, very mid table season because you can have De Bruyne, Pirlo, and Iniesta behind this guy, but it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. So yeah, look, that's my little rant on Luca. Um, let's talk about Simeone. Let's talk about Simeone, guys. Who I'm happy for him that he's scoring goals in Torino. He scored a good one against Roma as well. At least he took off points not just to us but to Roma. But you could tell that he was super disappointed and on the verge of crying that he scored against us, and that's to some extent nice to see. That he still cares so much. Obviously, he had to do what he had to do, and there's no hard feelings there with Simeone. Honestly, actually, it's nice to see that he still cares a lot about Napoli. Let's talk a little bit maybe about De Bruyne. Sorry, not De Bruyne. McTominay and Hojlund, guys, that they were both pictured there at Torino at the stadium, but not on the bench, obviously not on the field. And the question is for me, why? I was listening to Conte's press conference just now, and he was saying that Thursday, McTominay got injured in a tackle in training. He had to put 6 stitches on his ankle, and Hoyland came back from the international break with a bit of muscle fatigue, right? Think that this guy has been playing for 2 months straight, whereas before at Man United, he didn't really do a proper training regime with them and didn't play much because Man United had basically separated the player from the rest of the squad. So he's physically not at his best. But my question is, if guys, if McTominay has 6 stitches in his ankle that are less than 48 hours old, you have to leave him in Naples. What's the point of taking McTominay all the way to Turin, making him do 10 hours of traveling back and forth, lack of sleep, lack of rest? Just let the guy do his rehab in Naples. Let the guy rest. I mean, there's some things that I really don't understand with the way that Conte is managing players, in particular with protecting them from injuries, resting periods. Uh, This one of McTominay, I really don't understand. I mean, Maybe the Hojlund one, I can understand. Okay, this guy, his muscles a bit fatigued. We bring him on the Friday to Turin so that we see on Saturday if he's gotten better. But what do you expect of a player that got stitches on his ankle 2 days ago? Well, like, there is 0% chance that the guy can play, and you still bring him. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. And we are already so thin with players that we need to do a better job. Conte needs to do a better job with how he handles these things because, as I said at the start of the video, as soon as we play without one of our starters, it's super tough. So we got to protect our starters. We got to make sure that if they do have an injury, that they get the rest that they deserve. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. I'm honestly disappointed with the way Conte managed all this. Napoli Nation TV says Bonnie is who we should have had besides Luca. Yeah, look, Bonnie is a better striker than Luca. Yeah, Run for Fun says that Di Lorenzo is unfortunate liability for us. He was getting smoked. Yeah, there were two or three moments where Di Lorenzo was getting smoked. I mean, he's not the best when it comes to facing players that have a bit of speed and acceleration. He's a little bit flat footed. It's a topic that I've touched upon this year already. The since the Man City game and then the one afterwards, the we got to start thinking about the Di Lorenzo thing. And guys, I have Di Lorenzo on the wall, so I love the guy. Um, Always going to be part of the Napoli family and history and all that, but he needs to step it up. It's as simple as that. As the captain, he needs to step up. He needs to step up. He needs to take more risk, I think, going forward. Um, he can't just stop on the halfway line and do the simple pass and turn back and all that. He needs to go back to being the Di Lorenzo of the Spalletti years that was getting to the end of the box, crossing the ball, taking shots, playing passes that are a bit more risky, and we just don't do that with him anymore. And and from a technical perspective, the guy needs to start learning how to cross the ball because it's part of the job description, guys. I mean, you're a fullback. You need to know how to cross the ball and cross it above this height, And uh, now I'm sitting down, right? So I'm not saying to put it on the head, but like this is the minimum hip height is around here if you're standing up, and the guy cannot cross it above this level. It's embarrassing. He's got to do better than that. But yeah, this is something that he's always had. It's a problem that we need to fix. It's why I'm excited that at least on the left hand side we have Gutierrez, who should be a much better crosser of the ball than Oliveira. We need someone like that, someone young, someone fresh to come in on the right as well. And I'm sorry, but this might be one of the last seasons that Di Lorenzo does as a starter for us because we need to improve the team, and this is an area of improvement for sure. For sure. Then the fact that he's a great captain, a great leader, all that, people tell me who've watched the Scudetto movie that he's instrumental on that side of things. And fine, we can keep him in the dressing room, but he needs to start being phased out of playing every single game. So so yeah, that's that's on that, guys. Let's get some more comments. Gustavo Bras has Lang can't make a single difference. I mean, um, in the end, he tried to do stuff on the left. Mixed bag, honestly. Sometimes good with some decent things that he was doing towards the left. Other times quite poor. There was a pass that he did, a back pass towards one of the center backs that I don't know how from 2 meters he missed by 5 meters the intended target. The goal that he scored, I mean, it was a tap in. He was offside. So on the one hand, it's good that he was reactive to the ball being in play. Bad that he caught himself offside. He took off his shirt, which I think is a nice thing to see because I like that this is how much he cared about getting a goal. I think he's got something to prove. It's very clear that for him it was a moment that meant a lot, and it had kind of a fairy tale written all over it. Next game is against PSV, so he brings that kind of enthusiasm to the PSV game, and it could really be the start of something. And then obviously it was offside, right? So yeah, and now he just now he just looks like a fool, right? Getting a yellow card. But that's a little bit the story of Noah Lang at Napoli so far, right? He tries to do things well, and it just isn't working out for him at the moment. And Gustavo says, "I take that back." But then yeah, um, Luca is not that guy. Cut our losses and see if anyone bites in January. Wait, can we try Dom? Yeah, man. I think most people could do a decent job in attack over Luca. Simeone's reaction to scoring was nothing but heartbreaking, says Jonas. Lang awarded a yellow for celebrating an offside goal on the other hand. Well, yeah. Yeah, what is the opposite of heartbreaking? It's like sad in a different way, like just feel sorry for the guy. Um, but yeah, the Simeone one was one of the things about football, right? One of the storylines of the Serie A, of football in general, like players that score against their ex club. Sometimes they do it and they celebrate like crazy, and it's nice to see those celebrations as well. And I am on the opinion that if you score a goal for your current club, you need to celebrate it out of respect for the people that you play with, for the fans that you play with. I would say that's my go to, I would say 99% of the time. Like, I would hate it if we got a player from, I don't know, Roma, and he doesn't celebrate against Roma. No, no, you have to celebrate if you score for Napoli. Like, what is this? But with Simeone, I think with him, the connection was so strong with Napoli. With I, I think he really is the exception to the rule here. I think there's very few other players where that would apply. Um, Even though he wasn't born in Naples, I feel like spiritually he probably is. So yeah, I liked it in the end. Normally I don't like those things, but I like this one in particular. Lex says Luke unable to control a single ball. Gotta be a 2 or lower in the ratings. Positive signs from Lang, some nice passes and decisions aside from the whole celebration thing. Yeah, that one was funny. Let's go straight to the player ratings, guys. Because we brought it up that he should be a 2 or lower. I was a bit nicer. I gave him a 3. A 3 is the worst score so far this season. Um, This is usually reserved for people that are engaged in acts of terrorism. I mean, it's very hard to get a 3. Like, you have to really be diabolical on the field. But I mean, what choice did I have? It really hurt my eyes to see Luca today. Uh, so yeah, it's a 3. It's a 3. I think two is too low. Two is like he scored an own goal. One is he scores an own goal, then misses a penalty, then slaps Antonio Conte in the face. That would be a one. Uh, so I think we're still a bit far from that, but we are at a very low level. We're at a very low level, and the problem that I see here is that when you have players like this on the field, that it could influence the others to lower their standards as well, right? So because let me give you an example. Because De Bruyne plays with Luca, he can't give him the same type of passes that he would give to Hojlund or Haaland or whatever. So he has to lower his level. And if De Bruyne lowers his level, everybody else lowers their level. And it's a domino effect, right? So yeah, and he makes everybody else work harder because they know that if they pass the ball to him, they're going to lose the ball. So they have to make some other decisions. Or if they finally do pass it to him, he loses the ball and we have to track back. It just lowers everybody's level, makes everybody have to work harder. So yeah, and then everybody else, guys, I mean, there's a lot of red. There's a lot of red in the middle of the park. There was very, very bad pieces of play. Poor passing, scrappy passing, very difficult to highlight anything positive from anyone. Spinazzola at least was trying down the left. I think he was the first one to take a shot on target. It's a problem when a guy that you purchased to be your left back originally is your most dangerous person on the field and the one that has the most shots on target for you. Neres, something's good, something's bad. Politano came on and made an impact. Noah Lang, if he had scored a valid goal, it would have been also a bit higher, but ultimately he was offside. He needs to do better there. And the celebration, whilst again, it's nice to see. I don't know if the guy needs to take his shirt off for a tap in. I mean, these are players that unfortunately, guys, they have very few. I don't want to be canceled, no, and I don't want to say things against our own players, but these are players that, let's just say that they're not nuclear engineers, okay? Let me put it that way, that they're not winning the Nobel Prize for chemistry, if you get my message. I mean, what are you doing taking your shirt off, scoring a tap in on a game that you're going to tie 1-1? It's not even the winner. I don't know. Yeah, look, very disappointed. Very disappointed, and maybe this live, I don't know if you guys enjoy these things or not, no, when I just complain. Maybe yes. Maybe yes, I don't know. But I want to be positive, but there was really nothing positive today. I think the only positive thing was that Politano got back to playing, even though it was supposed to be that he was going to be out for a few weeks. Um, and I say that because when he came on, he was the best player. He managed to hit the post. That's the closest anybody got. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy to have a player like that back at some point, because everybody else is not not at the level that they can be. Neres is not at the level that he was at points last year. Um, yeah, I'm not, by the way, penalizing Billy Gilmore for the Simeone goal. It was unfortunate. I mean, he just tried to get the ball and it bounced off the wrong way. I think it's stuff that happens. Ideally, he would have seen the situation and be a bit more aware of his surroundings, but I think it would be a stretch to penalize him for that situation. He did do one nice through ball to Luca, in the first half. But from Gilmore, I also and maybe one to Spinazzola on the left. But I think what he needs to learn is to up the tempo a little bit in his passing. I think sometimes he can be a that fraction of a second slower than Lobotka, and in games where the other team is so tightly packed at the back, you can kind of feel it. You can kind of sense that. So yeah, look, I want to go to the analysis of the game, and I start off actually with this message or with this picture here of the Murales Maradona. And you might say, Domenico, what are you talking about? It's nothing to do with the game. Well, there was news this week that you see all the merchandise that is here in this piazza of the Murales Maradona. Well, there was news this week that the family that runs this area, which is private property, had been raided by the police, and basically forced to shut down because basically the merchandise that they're selling is not officially licensed Napoli stuff, right? So they shut down, they put walls. This is, by the way, one of the most touristic places, not just in Naples, but in all of Italy. After the Colosseum, this is one of the most visited places in all of Italy. And it's only since the last few years. It's a mix of when Maradona died, then Napoli won the Scudetto shortly after, then again, then again. But 5 years ago, guys, the place looked like this. 5 years ago, it looked like this, guys. And do you know how much money all those tourists that come through this street, which is all the way up in the Quartieri Spagnoli, it's all the way up. You have to really walk all the way. An area that, guys, 10 years ago, I wouldn't have wanted to walk around there late at night. Okay? I've personally seen in the Quartieri Spagnoli scenes that I, I don't want to say, but that are not nice. And now, since this happened, the entire area has been transformed into a place where you can actually have a walk with people and feel safe because because people want this area to work out because it brings people to have a drink, it brings people to have a meal. You have an exchange of cultures with people. Like the entire neighborhood has been lifted because of this thing, and it's one of the most maybe now interesting places to see in Naples. And yeah, a lot of people are making a living out of this in the like people that are just doing their activities normally, like a restaurant owner or whatever, no, that's right next to this place. They rely on it, and the police has come and shut it down. And if it goes back to looking like this, it will turn the entire neighborhood back into a bit of a slump, to be honest. And that's not something that we want to see. It's not something tourists want to see. So I really hope that they can sort it out. This family that runs this activity, that they can sort it out with the police, with the financial agencies. I don't want them to run illegal exercises. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm for. But we need to come to a compromise where Napoli can franchise stuff to them. I mean, there has to be a solution because we cannot go back to this. We cannot go back to that. Um, Too many people rely on the neighborhood looking like this rather than like that. So So yeah, and Napoli Nation TV here is saying Comune di Napoli will always be idiots, and that's, I think, the very frustrating thing is that so much so many bad things happen in Naples, but guys, so many, like so many bad things happen in Naples, and the one the one bad thing that is actually causing a net positive, it gets clamped down on. I mean, what? I'm not saying that I'm supporting people running activities illegally, but I'm saying if you have a list of 3,000 things that are not working in the city, is this really the number one priority? Can you not put it number 3,000 and you start with clamping down on negative things that are having a negative impact? I mean, it's incredible the lack of common sense that people have. It's really incredible, this this thing, and why I bring this up in a game in which we lost and all that, and it's because I think that we got killed twice this week. We got killed twice. We got killed now with Simeone scoring against us and watching Luca on our side. And we got killed earlier this week when we heard the news that this place is getting shut down. Because those that knew this place 5, 6, 10 years ago, they know the risk that this brings, okay? And yeah, I feel like we died twice this week. So, so yeah, just disappointing, guys. Disappointing, and that's a little bit the backdrop of this Torino Napoli game. Um, yeah, I think it goes straight to the soul of 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 Naples and Napoli. Right, moving on to the game, guys. Moving on to the game. Torino could have scored early on. They hit the post, so I don't want anyone saying like, "Oh, we were so close to tying the game with Noah Lang." Like, guys, these guys had three good chances in the first half. De Bruyne could have done better. Should be doing better. I think De Bruyne needs to start stepping it up as well because it's um, it's okay to score penalties, and it's okay to assist, and obviously it's great that he assists, but there's too many times now from open play that he's been wasteful with the goal scoring. And to be honest, with his salary and his legendary status, um, he needs to also step it up because let's face it, he's playing at 70% of what he can do. And the goal scoring aspect is something that he's got to start stepping up outside of penalties and fluke free kicks. This moment here from Oliveira, guys. Oliveira, I mean, he looks like the left-footed cousin of Mazzocchi. I mean, what is this, man? What is this? What is this? What is this? Again, I go back to this morning. While I was waiting for my paddle game to start, I was watching 4-year-olds play. And from a technical point of view, they showed some better things than what Oliveira did here. Because what is this body posture when someone's crossing the ball to you, trying to hit it like that with your left foot? Man, this guy's the most one-footed player I have seen in my life. The most one-footed player. Here, you have to, like, the body is 180 degrees in the wrong direction. 180 degrees. Um, yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible, guys. And this is the, accident with the goal. Simeone turning into prime Messi and scoring. He was sad about it. And then they could have had a second goal here if it wasn't for Vanja. I know Vanja didn't get the ball here, but if he hadn't come out like this, probably it would have been 2-0 Torino, because maybe Meret would have stayed on his line. That means the Torino player would have been able to control the ball, and not be rushed into taking a shot. So very risky from Banja, but I think he earned a little bit of credit there. Then this is the Billy Gilmore pass, which Luca couldn't do anything with. Neres, as I said, some things good, some things quite bad. This was an occasion where it was very bad. I mean, you have to do better than that. From a from a technical point of view, you can't be skying the ball like this. And when you've got De Bruyne lined up next to you, and you decide that you're gonna be the one taking the shot, you got to do a better job. You can't be wasting chances like that because it's an even bigger waste of a chance knowing that you had someone like De Bruyne lined up next to you. This moment here, it's not really clear from the photo. Apologies for that. It's it's one that really bothered me with Luca. He's defending from a corner. Okay, we're in defense here. Yeah, he's defending someone who must be, I think, at least 10 centimeters or 4 inches shorter than him because Luca's like 3,000 feet tall. Yeah. And somehow he loses this header and we risk going 2-0 down. I mean, dude, you have one strength. You got to maximize it. If you're not maximizing even that, I'm sorry, but you're going to get a 3 like I put. And it took always too long for Conte to make changes. First one, 20 minutes into the first half. Michael says, I think we should hire Spalletti back. Well, Spalletti, no, he's Spalletti. If you hear him speak, he really hates De Laurenti, so there's no going back there. But I feel like he's a guy that's carrying a lot of in Italian we say rancore. Um, how do you say that in English? Uh, like a grudge almost. I can't find the right word, but almost like a grudge. Like a grumpy old man is what I'm trying to say, right? Like he's annoyed that he got sacked by Italy. He's always bringing up De Laurentiis as if it wasn't him who decided to leave. Whatever, man. Like now you know, he's probably upset that Napoli won another Scudetto since he's kind of lost the yeah, he's lost the kind of aura that was, oh my God, Spalletti was the only one that could make Napoli win. Well, no, Conte did it 2 years later, no? So yeah, look, I wouldn't want him back. I think it would be super toxic. Um, I don't think we're there yet in terms of changing coaches, guys. I really don't think that this is what we need right now. We're definitely, not in relegation battles or Europa League battles and stuff like that. I think this year it's just getting back to the top four, but putting up a decent fight for the Scudetto and going far in the Champions League. I think if we finish second or third and get to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, I think that's still a positive season, honestly, because I think that sets then the foundations for the year after to do well in both competitions. I think this year it's all about learning with a completely new set of players and Conte how to deal with the two competitions. And if the end result is that we're somewhat competitive in both, then I think it's positive. And if we can sneak in a Coppa Italia and a Super Cup in there, then it's for me we pass with flying colors. So um, yeah, we're still fine to meet those objectives in my opinion. So let's see. But yeah, too early to speak about different coaches. But this is another opportunity from De Bruyne. Elmas had a very similar one. We spoke about how he should be scoring these a little bit more. This is the pass that I was speaking about with Noah Lang. Like 70th minute. I thought this guy was supposed to excite us. Do you remember his press conference? He said, "When I get the ball, people are sitting down like this, and then I get the ball, and people go like this. You know, they get off their seats and they get excited." Man, what is exciting about you at this point in time passing the ball backwards like this, man? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, man? Again, I watched better football today, this morning, when I was watching 4 year olds playing football. Let me finish that sentence because I know some people are going to crop that inappropriately. But I happened to be passing by a youth game and there was more quality than some of what I saw uh, out there today. So yeah, that was a moment where I just said, wow, this we don't deserve to tie. We don't deserve to tie, and I would feel bad for Torino if we got a result out of this because I didn't see this bad quality from Torino. They didn't offer anything exciting, but at least they weren't making these kind of mistakes. And then we had this moment here, and Noah Lang, you can clearly see from this picture as well, clearly offside. Again, this guy needs to switch on a bit more. I like that then he was switched on and he had this moment here when the ball was in play and he went to celebrate, but the details make the difference and he was offside. And yeah, this picture here is a funny one. But yeah, is he Lindstrom 2.0? That's the big question. Would Lindstrom have done a better job? I don't know. I don't know, but yeah, Jorge Reina says that he's disappointed. I'm actually gonna Google Jesper Lindstrom and see how he's doing. He is at the moment playing for Wolfsburg. Let's see. Let's see how he's doing. He's currently injured. Okay, okay, but let's see. He's played only one game. He's played 1 minute. He's played 1 minute. Okay, never mind. Um, so yeah, he's not been fit, but um, yeah, that's that. That's that. Right, right, guys. I think I think now it's just time to go into the press conference and see what Conte said. I listened to it actually, but let me pull it up so I can translate it word for word for you guys. Conte says if Hojlund and Mctominay were here, it's because there was an intention to make them play. The thing about Scott is that he got 6 stitches yesterday. We tried him in the training, and then after a while, he decided to not take part. Similarly for Hojlund, and the players need to be 100%, otherwise someone else will play. In the first half, we put on ballerina shoes. We were nice to watch, but we didn't have any energy or anger to cause any issues to Torino. And in the second half, instead, we raised the rhythm. I'm not sure. I agree with Conte here. Like in the first half, we were just trying to play nice little passes. I mean, I think in the first half we were also quite poor. We were just poor all round. And he brings up a stat that we are number 14th in the league for um, ability to convert our chances. So yeah, that's a problem. That's partly because we play a lot with. We played 2 games with Luca at the start before Hojlund. It's another game now with Luca. So yeah, it's difficult and our wingers are not contributing offensively in the way that wingers normally should, right? Which is with goals. But Neres, Noah Lang, Politano, they're not scoring enough at the moment. They ask him where can Luca improve, and he says, he's part of those group of players that arrived that have to work to raise their levels. And how well we do this year will be directly related to how well these players are able to grow. And we just need to have patience with these players. So look, that's what Conte said in the press conference, and yeah, um, that's Conte. I think sometimes he's trying to sometimes he's trying to protect himself and the players by saying that they just need to have more time and all that. And to some extent, I like that. I don't think it's helpful for Conte to start bashing on players because let's face it, if he if he says anything negative about Luca and things like that, like you've destroyed him. This guy's not gonna come back from it. So I think that doesn't help him at all. I think what you just have to do is you just have to hope that Hojlund stays fit, and that you give Luka some minutes when the game is already decided, when it's already Napoli in the lead, and you hope that he scores in a more easier context, where maybe the other team is not parking the bus, and you start building his confidence that way. I don't think he's the type of player that responds to people criticizing him, because guess what? When he signed, people criticized him, and he hasn't proved anyone wrong so far. So he's definitely not the type of player that responds positively to criticism. Maybe it's actually the type of player that feels the pressure a lot, that feels that there isn't that kind of support around him from fans, maybe like myself, and he's not able to perform. But I also think as fans, we need to make sure that we keep the club um, responsible to providing players of a high standard, and we have a right to express whether a player is performing to the standard of a Scudetto winning Serie A side, a player that's earning a lot of money. And I think if I earned 2 million a year, I'd be open to receiving public criticism over my work. I, in fact, I mean, if I don't do my streams well, the comments are open and everybody can comment and say that this stream sucked and that I should close the channel or and whatever. I mean, if you want if you want to criticize, like I'm open for it. And if I'm open for it and I'm not earning 2 million euros a year out of it, I think we have a right to criticize people that do earn that much money, and not have to feel sorry for them. I definitely don't feel sorry for Luca, because for me, I think he should be kissing whoever is looking out for him, whether it's his agent or a guardian angel, that this guy is able to earn money playing football. Honestly, I think this guy is. In Italian, we say miracolato. Like this guy is. It's a miracle. It's a miracle for this guy to be earning money playing football, because he looks nothing like a football player. Nothing like a football player, in my opinion. So, um, I think we have all the right to criticize and not have to feel bad. Sometimes I feel bad criticizing players. Sometimes even, my dad watches these streams, and he says like you shouldn't be so hard on the Napoli players, like, but but uh, but no, I mean, man, if if you're a football player, you're in the public's domain, you're in the public sphere, and when you do things well, people celebrate you and they sing your name and they chant you and they buy shirts with the name on with your name on the back. And if you're willing and yeah, if you're willing to take the positives, you have to be willing to take the negatives. That's what I always say. If you can't take the heat, then don't play the game. Don't be in the kitchen if you don't like the heat. So definitely, I don't feel bad for criticizing Luca. So yeah, guys, that's a bit of it's a bit of therapy. No, I feel like I've released a lot today. Um, feel lighter. I think I managed to get a few chips off my shoulder from this live. So at least that helped me emotionally. I hope for you guys as well that you were able to kind of hear and discuss. I'm sorry I didn't get to maybe read out too many comments, but I think everybody is able to read them anyways from the side of the screen. I make sure that everybody's comment is visible on the screen. There's space for people to read it as I rant, and people in the comment section are engaging in the conversations. So I'm sure you guys still were able to get your satisfaction that way. But let me maybe get a few out there before I close the show. And Zevdan, maybe I start from this comment down and I say, people that criticize Lang, man, what could he have done more? He gave a clean pass to De Bruyne, which he skied and he scored, but it was disallowed. So the pass to De Bruyne was nice, but the goal that he scored, guys, we shouldn't be praising players for scoring offside goals. I mean, what guys, we need to have higher standards than this. Why are we being mediocre? This is what I don't understand. The guy is offside. He has a clear view of the defenders in front of him and Politano at the time of the shot. He needs to understand how to position himself. It's part of his job description. It's part of his job description to remain onside. I think if you cannot remain onside, you're not doing your job. So I'm not celebrating his performance by the fact that he scored an offside goal. Look, if you score a tap in, I'm never going to criticize that. I'm never going to say, oh, he only scored a tap in. No, no. If you score a goal, no matter if it's a bicycle kick or a tap in, you've done your job and you've done the most hard thing in all of football to score a goal, to put the ball in the back of the net. That's why we don't see basketball scores in football. We see 0-0, 1-0. This is the type of things that we see. So if you score, you do the hardest thing in football. But if you're offside, you're offside. I mean, we this is we guys, we are Napoli. I mean, we you have a multi-million-dollar contract, guys. I mean, we need to stop being mediocre. We need to stop being mediocre, guys. I urge you guys to think of these players as the highest pinnacle of sport. And I really do mean it that this is basics. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, next we're going to start celebrating people just because they stepped onto the field. I mean, it's incredible, no? Like it's incredible. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm being hard on him. Maybe I'm being hard, but yeah. I'm 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 not counting his goal as something positive. It's it's for me maybe more of a negative than a positive, but yeah. What I find positive is his celebration that he cared. Less so that he got a yellow card for it, but at least he cared. That I find positive. The De Bruyne pass I find positive. The pass that he did to the defenders that made us waste 10 seconds and was maybe the most obscene pass I've seen in 10 years, that cannot be positive. And that, I'm sorry, but it eliminates 10 other positive things that the guy can do because you cannot play in the Serie A and screw up a pass like this. I mean, guys, come on. Come on. Simo says, I think with Hojlund and Scott, we would have won this game. I think so. I think yes. I mean, I think with Hojlund, it would have been a different story. We would have been able to cause a bit more problems to the defenders of Torino. I think let's not forget that this is the worst defense in Serie A. We didn't even speak about that. This is the worst defense in Serie A. They got a clean sheet against us. So do I think Hojlund could have done a better job? Yes. Yes. I think we should part ways with Conte at the end of the season. Get Italiano or De Zerbi who can play expressive football and win. Conte said something last year. He said, as long as we're winning, Neapolitans will be happy with me. The moment we stop winning, they'll kick me out. Because it's true that the way that we see football is very much that we want to see nice football. We've had Maradona, we've had Sarri, we've had our history aligns us more to the beautiful game. Um, and we're able to support and stand Conte because he gets the job done. And we also needed that. Um, Also, Spalletti um, was beautiful football at points, and he also managed to get the job done. No, that was kind of the pinnacle. Um, but it's true that we are a club that if you're not playing beautiful football and you're not winning, it's going to be it's going to be tough. Like I would say that we would rather finish fourth but see beautiful football than finish second with bad football. Because if you're gonna lose, either I mean both positions you lose. So you might as well see something nice because we're spending a lot of hours in front of the TV. No, so at least we need to watch something nice. I think Conte still though has a lot to give to Napoli, and I think that even if we don't win this year, we should keep Conte because I think that he gives us a chance to win the next year. I think that with him we have a high chance of winning, and if I have to support one bad year where we don't play good football and we don't win, but I have a high chance of doing it again next year. Yeah, and I think that this year is to some extent a transition year. I think the Scudetto came a bit early for us in terms of the plan. It's good that it came, but it was always going to be a build up, no? Of last year we should I think the plan was to finish in the top 4. This year was to finish in the top 4 and also be competitive in the Champions League. And the third year was supposed to be the year that we go and conquer everything. That was supposed to be the plan. Um, so, we anticipated part of it, but this whole idea of playing the two competitions, it's a complete different ball game that we need to get used to, and it just might mean that this year we don't win. That's fine. I think we're setting up the basics for next year. Spalletti won't come back. Yeah, he won't come back. Why do we even play Jesus anymore? Man, bro's so washed. It's because we have other defenders that are so weak physically. De Bruyne and Elmas both sent over the goal, man. Yeah, and these are maybe our two most technical players. At this point, even Ambrosino seems better than Luca. I think so. We should at least give him more playing time. Gutierrez doesn't seem good either. No, come on. Come on, Gutierrez. Man, what is this comment? Gutierrez seemed very good the games that he was playing for us. What? I don't understand this comment. I don't know if we saw the same Gutierrez. So yeah. Give Gutierrez the time. Yeah, exactly, man. I mean, he did well. Compare Luka and Hojlund. Luka is a tall mountain. Hojlund is a volcano. Yeah, Hojlund is our Vesuvius, no? And Luka is not a mountain. He's a lamppost, man. I mean, he's a yeah. It's just useless. Napoli Nation TV says, "What do you think about the PSV match this week?" I think if we don't get 3 points against PSV, our season will take a turn for the worst. I think I think we need these 3 points like crazy because otherwise it will set us back. We will be yeah we like from a media perspective, from an environment perspective, it will they will start saying crisis Napoli, all this kind of stuff. So the PSV match is a must win. It's one of the most important matches of the year. Um, we've got Inter next, so we have to make sure that we go into the Inter game having won before, and putting this Torino thing aside. PSV will be a good game. Hojlund will be Miss Bally in that game. Same with Scotty. Maybe Hojlund will play. Luca is slow, man. Like Hojlund's far better than him in pace. Yeah, watching Jesus and Luca and Dilo is such a pain. It's part of the job description. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Run for fun says totally agree. They all do all day is run and practice soccer for their work. When you have that much time to work at your skills, you should be more. Exactly. I'm relieved with what you said. If we can at least be competitive with the championships we are playing, it is okay. Yeah, I think so. Tomato says, um, completely right, Dom. Hopefully Conte doesn't leave. Love what he's done for us as fans. Gotta expect losses. Maybe not these type of losses, but we will lose some games. It's football. Anything can happen. Yeah. And look, some of the best teams out there are really struggling as well. Like uh, Barcelona today, I always reference them because I think it's a good club to reference because they won the league last year. I follow them kind of closely, living here. Um, they won today against Girona, but they won in the 93rd minute with a goal from their defender. So there's a lot of teams out there struggling. Um, and these teams, in theory, have an even better squad than us, a great coach as well. So it's not easy to win every game or be the best out there every game. So yeah, I mean, in the end, they won, fine, but they had a 98% chance of not winning that game. So yeah, that's that's something that we have to accept. It's part of football. It's why football's nice. If everything was the way it should go, then what's the point of playing, right? You just know then right off the bat who's gonna win the title. And the nice thing is that these things happen and they will happen to the other teams. They will happen to Inter, Milan, Juve, Roma lost to Torino as well. So yeah. Um this game gave me a headache, so frustrating. Are you confident we will beat PSV? Um we should. We should. I think they're not that good of a team. In theory, we got their best player, Noah Lang. So, um, if we don't beat PSV after we took the best player in their team this summer, that's a bad sign. So I think we should. I think we should. Can we get a refund for Luca if we show the receipt? Oh man, I can just imagine. Imagine being Udinese, okay? Imagine being Udinese. You have a striker that is okay for you. I mean, you're Udinese, right? Whatever. And Napoli comes knocking and they say 35 million. I mean, it's like, man, I want to be that lucky in my life, with things like people just offer you things out of proportion. Like, I don't know. I sell a cookie and someone's like, I'll give you $100 for it. Fine, you know. I wish that happened to other people as well, to us, not just to me, but to us. I wish that kind of luck to us. What's going on, guys, with the Inter game? What's going on with Roma? No one's talking about it. Inter's winning. Bonnie scored. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, look at that. Bonnie scored. Yeah. And instead we have Luca. Well, anyways, I'm glad that I think this game I'm cheering for Inter. I mean, if Roma wins, then we have a team that is 3 points above us, and that would be difficult. Instead, if Inter win, it means that we're tied on points with Inter and Roma. Milan can hop over us at 16 points if they win their game tomorrow against Fiorentina. Juventus can also be in the mix at 15 points, but they have to play against Como, and Como at home is not an easy game. But it would be man, this Serie A is turning out to be one of the all-timers. One of the all-timers, because if it stays like this between Inter and Roma, and Juve win and Milan win, there will be 5 teams within 1 point after 7 matches. I don't think that's ever happened. And you have Atalanta that would be, if they win their game, they would be 3 points behind as well, because they would go to 16. Sorry, they would go to 13 and Milan would be at 16. So you would have 6 teams within 3 points. And Atalanta, by the way, with Juric, I mean, we're all laughing, Atalanta, Juric, whatever. Guys, they haven't lost the last few games. Inter in the last five lost two, Napoli lost two, Roma lost one. Um, but Atalanta hasn't lost in the last five. Neither have Milan or Juve. So it's interesting. It's interesting. And with that, guys, let's end it there. The Inter game is is I think interesting to watch. So I'll close the live and watch that one. And guys, thank you so much for joining the live. I know it's not an easy one to follow, but with that, that's it from me. And even though we lost, as always, Forza Napoli, sempre. Ciao.